Hello everybody, Blake Bosman here for Sneak Peek, and we're here today looking at the new comedy drama film Above the Clouds. Alright, so first off, can you just take us through the process of bringing this film to life?
Well, I basically read a review that said UK road movies don't work because it's not very far to go, so you can turn around and go back again. So I decided, how could we stretch that canvas out? And so the film is about an 18-year-old girl who can't drive. She's a learner, and she needs to go. She discovers that her father is not a biological father, and her father lives on a little island, the Isle of Skye in Scotland, and she's coming from South England. So she wants to drive there, and so she persuades a homeless man that she's met, whose only possession is his driving license, to sit in the passenger seat so that she can drive on her learner's permit all the way up to Scotland. So it kind of meant that you can't go on motorways. It's going to take time. She's not a confident driver, so it's suddenly that route suddenly becomes a lot longer. That's where it all came from.
So how was that process of looking at other road films and seeing what they've done? Did you look at what other works they've done before and try to adapt to that?
We did a bit, and we were particularly inspired by US road movies, in the sort of Little Miss, I'm sure you've mentioned Little Miss Sunshine, Sideways, were very much sort of tonally things, and sort of in terms of the color palette, in terms of the type of humor we did. It wasn't sort of outrageous comedy. It was very much sort of slow burn character kind of, you invest in the relationship. So we were very inspired by sort of independent US road movies.
Well, the whole process was just great from start to finish. I think the amount of time I spent with Naomi on the journey, because the majority, 95% of the film is us. What was really good about it was we kind of knew what we were doing without much input from the director, and he was really happy for us to kind of just go with it and see what happens. And I'd say kind of 9 out of 10 times that was the right choice.
Can you just tell us a little bit about the character of Charlie?
She is an 18-year-old who is rebelling against everything her parents want her to be, and she wants to be an artist and be creative, and they want her to be stable and have a future that's guaranteed for her. So she's in that weird transition of I want to do what I want to do, and I don't really know how to go about that. So it's a really tough time, I think, for her.
And I know we had talked to Andrew earlier and talked about how a lot of the movie is just you and him interacting with each other. So how was that? How was so much of the movie being that one-on-one interaction? How was that for you?
We didn't really know each other at all. We literally obviously we didn't know each other, but we didn't have any time together before we started shooting. We literally I auditioned, and then the next week we were in the car together filming, and it was a lot, but luckily we get on. And I think being in that confined space for someone for so long, because the car is tiny, it kind of just it either makes or breaks you, and I think it made us, luckily. So yeah, it was intense, but in a good way.
So from what I was seeing online, you've done a lot of work with short films, as far as I can tell. So how was this different from the shorts you've done before?
It was quite amazing, actually, the difference, because I thought it would just be like putting a load of short films together into one thing, but it just multiplies up from that. It's not like doing 10 short films. It's like doing 100 short films. It's a massive undertaking in comparison, and it was exhausting. I mean, when you do a short film and you're doing it over 2 or 3 days, it's kind of like everyone's in it and it's great and it's fun. Suddenly when you're doing a feature and it's over 3 or 4 weeks, it's a whole different attitude to it. And it was challenging, and especially when I was producing and directing, and we're doing it on a micro budget. We shot a lot of the film in my house. So Charlie's house, the main character, is my house, and I turned my living room into a studio. I put it all into storage, and we shot 7 other scenes on micro sets in my house. So basically my life just became this film. Hard work. The shoot was hard work. I enjoyed as it came together towards the end on the edit, when suddenly we're sitting there watching the grade, doing the 5.1 surround mix and that sort of stuff, and suddenly you're seeing this complete movie. But actually, in all honesty, it was the world premiere where we sat there, and first time we showed it to an audience and people responded. It was an amazing experience. I've got a Apple Watch that was kept telling me my heart rate was raised during the screening, and I kind of I knew that. So no, that was an amazing thing.
When people are walking out of the theater, how do you want them to feel about this film?
I would hope that they would have a smile on their face. And I think, for independent films, I've written other independent films that are very sad and, that really put people through the ringer. And I hope at the end of this, because it's been so much about this relationship, that you sort of feel like you're kind of in on it as well. And I hope that you sort of, would go away with a smile on your face.
Well, there you have it, everybody. It looks like Above the Clouds will be a must-see film this season. Be sure to check it out, and be sure to check out the rest of our coverage here at Austin Film Festival. I'm Blake Bosman with Sneak Peek, and thank you so much for watching.